and I'm gonna come up with a topic at some point. Something so not so invasive, I guess. Maybe a non-invasive topic, something that can speak to a lot of people, so I can actually get people to start looking at this channel, or maybe like not promoting it, obviously. I mean, but like just watching and discussing stuff. I kind of have. Wait, let me get one. All right. And yeah, I can go. All right. All right. Go ahead. All right. So seeing as how people don't like to see my face, maybe they just don't care. I pixelated a bunch of stuff so people don't even like see me or anything like that. Used a chroma key. Oh man, let's go. Get out of here. And Republic is offended. Everyone is done is jealous of me or afraid of me because of how I look and who I work for. I'm not willing to compromise who I am just to get people to like me more, but I just get full of me. It seems like a smart cow. But he seems like a smart cow. Public any chance he wants us for having a drink sometime. Alone in the upper sands. You're alone. Only not to take rain check on that drink, but your instincts are good. My friends crop up in the most unlikely places. You must need to search them out. Alright, so we're gonna come up with a topic. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. Uh, let's do this. I guess I realized something. Um, that it didn't matter where I would get my next idea. It started to turn into that because and then I started to look within. I think that's the biggest opportunity that you could have, I guess, is realizing that being able to see within yourself and realize your bigger goals, you know?
Got a question? Should talk to Sullivan.
Alright, 84. Inventory. Alright, so I think what matters in my life, or what mattered to me in my life before, was staying up to date on things. And I think that now, seeing that, oh, alright, I see that there's concession stand. I've seen bigger parts of my reality, and that's annoying as fuck. I'm sorry. All right. That's also annoying as fuck. I need to. All right. Cool. I've noticed what that when anytime I start to think about the future, or what it holds, I think I give myself a panic sometimes. I really noticed that a lot of times whenever I would go out to do certain different things. Municipal plutonium well? What? This has got to be a building. Awesome. I noticed that the more I started to think about the future, the more I got a panic, I guess. And maybe that was only because I thought, uh, oh, through my spontaneity or whatever sort of thing, I basically found myself making every short-term plan possible. Every kind of short-term plan I could ever get my hands on, or ever have, I guess. I'm gonna go to the map, and we're gonna go somewhere else. Westing State. All right. I noticed that the more that I got into situations, the more that those situations I noticed would escalate, or I noticed that
or they would stay the same because I would fear for them to be escalating, and I I just found out a lot of times that people didn't want anything to do with me, you know, like it's. And maybe that's the reason why I'm so standoffish sometimes when people get on and they try to say stuff like, "Oh, this is something else," or "Oh, you're something else." Like, and I'm not supposed to be affected by that, but I am. But if there's anyone that would like to talk, just, I mean, that's the whole reason why I like to talk. I like having someone to talk to, and the more I realized I need someone to talk to, the more I kind of okay, let's look at our map. Where am I at? I'm faced down, I think. That's where I'm faced, and there's a road that goes out here, and the road that goes off on the. It's right here, yeah. Oh, awesome! That's why I can't find it, because it's already covered, and what I can't do is. All right, so since I'm not that's kind of the thing that I grew up with my mom, so I'm not like the most confrontational person you could ever meet, but I'm more of a person that likes to communicate. Like, I'm a communicator. I like to talk about my problems and talk them out and stuff like that. I don't just want to let them fester or let them sit, because it makes me think that makes me think that when I leave that feeling behind, I like my emotions to be at the forefront, because if I don't, I feel like a spy, or like I feel like I'm not giving the stuff that I need. I'm not giving anything the way that I want it to. And I also believe that there are a lot of times where got him. Okay, I can go my 10mm pistol. I think there are a lot of times when I died. Yay. There are a lot of times when I thought that that putting a lot of stuff in the background for me was the way to go. You know, that's what I thought, and I realized the more that I started thinking about things, the more that I would get into it. Like, the more I would sit and stare at a book, the more I would want to read it. You know, the more I would look at something, the more I would look at something, the more it stayed in the forefront of my brain. You know, the more that wanting to do that thing would stick with me, and I'd be able to get my production value and my basic want to be able to learn how to do a lot of different things that I want to do. The more that would actually stick with me, and the more I'd find it easier to accomplish when people weren't exactly on my side, I guess, or not on my side, but when they're too far away to be on my side, you know, like, because I know that there's a day like that that's coming, you know, like, that's like, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to see what I'm doing wrong. Sometimes that and that's where I think what I'm doing wrong is whenever I need to be motivated to want to do something positive for myself, and I think I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes whenever I would actually do stuff. Like I wanted to get that drawing done like 3 weeks ago, and I would nag at myself and just like tell myself that you need to be better than this. You're freaking you're better. You're good, and I think it has to do a lot with the times that I grew accustomed to, I guess. When I grew accustomed to it, what I grew accustomed to was it's like you can't deal with life's problems, or you can't be a part of someone's life if your shit's not in order, or or you can't do something and someone's available. And I mean, that's, I think, a part of what I was running from, I guess. Accountability on my own part. And when I realized that I was losing grounding, I guess, as far as things went, I never really got back to that point, you know? Like, I used to be really positive about stuff, and the reason why I'm positive is because there's no point in being negative, you know? It's just... There's no point in wanting... Little bastards! That was fucking insane. And I think that's the reason why I found it hard to... I found it hard to stop sometimes, you know? To want to stop, because I push myself so hard as far as training goes. And a lot of times I want to go back to that. I want to get back to that area in my life. And but I also know that it'll never be exactly the same. Like, I mean, and that's the part of my mind that's telling me kind of, don't go down that path, or don't go to that area where there's something like this I gotta get rid of or something, you know, just there's something telling me just don't do the things you think you want to do because you think you want to do them and I think it has a lot to do with two different kinds of, I'd say, manipulative media. People seeing stuff like do stuff, like go somewhere, do something awesome with your life, do amazing things, and their narratives, I guess, and then there's hey, watch this, relax, slow down, take a load off, and then I think between those two things, those two, like, there's something else that people aren't seeing. Like, there's probably like a secret fifth or sixth one, because I'm sure there's other different kinds of narratives out there that are telling people kind of, but also too, I mean, the more you try to inspire people, the more the more you're looked at as an inspirational person. And then when that veil or that thing that you're trying to get people to do is compared against your own merits, because I live in a small city, or on the outskirts of a small city, and for that much I'm happy about it. There may be like dilapidated houses and things like that around town, but there's not dilapidated neighborhoods, but for the most part, everything keeps getting revitalized, and for that much, I'm very happy with. And I noticed that a lot of times they'll revitalize the neighborhoods, but they won't revitalize the schools. And I think that's where people start to notice something different and realize that like there was a school, I think, for autistic kids that was across the street where the our police station used to be. I used to go and get snacks there when I was a young kid, and there were a lot of times where I thought that people would be there for me, and I know that people are there for me, but I also know that I have to be there for myself too, and to be able to make sure that I'm not focused on something that's all right, let's go to this place. I keep dying. Oh well. I noticed it a lot of times when I get out there and try to make something for myself or try to do something better. I thought in a sense maybe that I'd Did I take a page out of someone else's book? But then again, Molotov cocktails. Rapid laser musket, that's cool. And fusion cell, might like me. But through all those thoughts of not feeling good enough or not feeling inspired enough to do something, I make some pretty amazing artwork, and that's kind of what I want to keep doing for the rest of my life. I want to be able to make sure that I can make a better impression on the kids that I eventually have, or the days that I want to live. You know, oh, shitty bitches. All right. I've noticed that was a big effort sometimes. And it was a big effort to try to make a better situation even better for myself. And there's a big situation, I think, that makes me want to it makes me want to build on something, and that's where I think a lot of times I get my my most amazing creations is from a lot of times boredom. And my foot just fell asleep. Awesome. I need to stop eating so many fatty foods sometimes. I'm realizing that my body wasn't taking it the first time, so why would it take it now? So, there were big times in my life when I had a lot of different things, and I just thought that if I held on to them too much, then I would obsess over them. And And that's not what happened. I wound up forgetting about everything. And that's not good either. So I noticed that after a while, even though I think that that I'm better in a certain way, the more I see the bigger challenges in my life, the more I look at those challenges and see another thing that's actually fulfilling my life. And I think also too, I've noticed that there's oh, that's awesome. Where can I go to get this thing? I don't want to jump in here because I know I'd probably die at some point. I noticed that there's a really big reason why I find it imperative to do a bunch of side projects. And I found a lot of times whenever I'm actually thinking about doing some sort of side project or some sort of thing, a bunch of stuff starts going through my head about the things that I can actually do.
Hey there.
I'm worried about Rex. Those super mutants are so brutal.
I'm sure he can handle himself.
Rex. How would you know? You've never met him. He's well-intentioned. I'm worried about Rex. Those super mutants are so brutal.
Mayday or whatever it is one says on a plane. My name is Rex Goodwin. I'm being
I suppose you want me to go help him.
Oh, I thank you for offering. I'm ever so grateful.
Hey, look at this place. The maid's got talent.
The more I see a lot of different people, the more I realize that or the more I realize that, or the more I think, for some reason, that I'd be outnumbered, in the sense that I kind of am just getting to know parts of this world, I guess. I mean, I know a lot about it. I've studied and I've done a bunch of research and things like that, but I don't think that just the popular opinion will help me, you know, or being a part of the popular thought process.
Keep an eye on that.
awesome. Rad scorpions. That's fun. But the more I think about it, the more I get hopeful, and the more I start to think that maybe there's other people out there that have realized that it's that it's their job to work on themselves. And I see so many kids around town, or so many people around town that aren't doing well sometimes, and are having a kind of a hard time. And I guess that's the reason why I think so fast sometimes, or why I think like there's nothing that could get me back into the reason why I'm better off to think about more comfy reasons, you know, or comfy projects. I've never done that. Like I don't think that. And this is funny. It is hilarious. So they keep on going back and forth and looking at me. Alright, she stopped, I think. But yeah, the more I think about it, the more I want to be hopeful, and I want to push towards something that makes sense and to me, and hasn't been my there she is, did it again. There have been more times that I've seen something negative than something positive sometimes. And the more that I see something negative, the more it hardens me and stops me from doing what I really want to do. The more that I see something positive, the more it makes me hopeful that people aren't just living their lives to live their lives out there. They're living their lives to enjoy something, or to do something, or to experience something. And maybe that's just like what people would say is the reason why. Because I mean, there are so many different people out there, so many different individualistic views, and so many different kinds of individuals, like so many different kinds of people. And it's going to be hard to get the same opinion in different rooms, you know? But I also know that there are cheap existential loopholes that people use to be able to control what people think and how they feel, and it's just like it's not like people are looking to change the regime or change their own thinking or way of thinking. It's more like they just want to change the channel, basically. And I think there are a lot of reasons why sometimes people need to to be a part of their own individual revolution before they start anyone else's or anything else's, you know? So people say that movies change people and shape minds and things like that. I think that it doesn't change the mind of anyone to see someone else doing something that they want to do, you know? It's not going to change someone's mind to go out there and be yourself, but it's going to change people to see that the central idea of something needs to be exemplified. To see that the centralized idea of something and the people that believe that somehow everything or something or nothing or one thing up to some point is without blame. Up to any point is without blame. And people are just so devout on killing themselves sometimes. But I get all worked up and stuff, so you are your own one-person bomb squad. You can defuse situations out there, even if you feel like you're in the worst part of your life. Even if you feel as though there's nothing out there for you to solve. Be yourself, and maybe I should do shorter ones, but it probably wouldn't make much sense. So I might have to start recording these, but and start coming up with talking points and stuff like that, because I just feel like I'm missing the mark, I guess, and I'm missing the point sometimes, and I'm going to try to practice, so I'll come back with probably a better product. Have a good day, and always be yourself, because if you're someone else, then you're not you.